laughs. I'm playing pool, it's amazing. But after that, I kind of died.
It was rough.
Kind of like everyone died in Miami, to be honest.
The beach
It's
destroyed
Miami.
everything
If you don't
I
die,
had.
you didn't do it right.
I was so exhausted, and then I got back that night, and I couldn't fall asleep. I just I don't know if I got charged up from the dinner, like the DJ, everything. I was in the bed with my eyes just shut, but not sleeping. It was the worst. But welcome
really
to my bad. And we're live.
We're live here. Welcome to the row here. Welcome to row 26, Sixers, Hot Heads, Dreamers. We're here. You see my host in the center there, Hot C, with the Mets gear on, gearing up for a playoff run right now. Hot.
We'll see. Doesn't look good tonight. We're getting smoked by the Braves.
Yeah, nothing.
It was 5-1 last I looked. They'll probably lose, and that'll make us one game ahead of them in the wild card. Welcome back, boys. Thank you so much for coming on, everybody. We got 3 guests tonight. We got Joey, could have been a professional athlete with better high school coaching to pool. We got Eddie, could have been a professional soccer player, maybe, Luzada. And we got Nick, who is could have been a professional
weightlifter, bodybuilder.
What is that? Drewski's
I could have been professional at FIFA.
There you go, professional FIFA player. And Nick could have been a professional male model if he had hair. Moving forward,
kick it off. I know you wanted to kick it off with something, kid.
Yeah, I had just a crazy stat alert. So I don't know. Any of you guys know what the Bulls record was last year? The Chicago Bulls. Yeah.
37 and 45.
Very close.
40 and 44.
Very close.
There's 82 games, you idiot.
Say that couldn't even happen.
40 and 42.
39 and 43 is the correct answer. There are 6 games left in the MLB season right now, and the Chicago White Sox are 36 and 120.
Yeah,
they will have to win 4 of their last 6 games, or they'll have less wins than the Bulls this season. The Chicago White Sox.
I don't know where you were going with that. That's crazy.
I put $400 in the beginning of the year for them to have the worst record in the league.
That was like a month ago.
Yeah, I was about to say that hit like a month ago.
It hit a week and a half ago when Colorado won a game.
That's crazy. So fucking crazy. But this is unreal. I mean, they could legitimately They could legitimately have less than 40 wins in a 162 game season. That is 1 of every 4. That is absolutely insane. I just thought the worst teams ever, all time. Crazy.
As
we could parlay that into Ticini's week.
How do you get through that after that?
What are you saying, Whoopty?
How do you get through having such a bad season after that? What changes do you even make at that point? I feel like it's just a full overhaul at that point.
Are any players on that team, Hots, prominent in fantasy by any chance? Was anybody relevant?
I don't think so.
That's crazy for a whole MLB squad to have no relevant fantasy players. Is fucking nuts.
The Chicago White Sox are relevant in fantasy because you stream any pitcher pitching against them. That's how they're relevant in fantasy. If any pitcher, they could have a 7 ERA. If they're pitching against the White Sox, they're a viable fantasy starter that game. Just incredible stat to start the show off. We're gonna get into the Hots corner quick.
You hear the music.
We were talking earlier. We had to get a little bit of a late start getting set up for this. So just so you guys know, we don't have Eddie the full time. I don't think we should necessarily rush the Hots corner to try to get to the recap. I say we just do it our normal flow, and then fucking Eddie can talk shit before he leaves. Just let him let off a clip if he wants to.
That sounds good. So let's kick it off here. I got questions for Joe. I'll take 3 questions for Joe here, so to get him going here. So, Joe, would you rather a mansion in the hills, beach house on the beach, or a penthouse on the Upper West Side?
I'm a beach house on the beach all day type of guy.
Where else
Which
would you have a beach house?
teams that are ranked? You'll have a chance to explain. So these are rapid fire, and then we'll explain it after. All right, we should have set the table there. That was my fault as the host. Which teams that are ranked in the bottom 4 of our league will make the playoff? Which team will make the playoff of those 4, if you had to name one? And which team in the top 4 will miss the playoffs?
I think Jake right now, his team is ranked in the bottom 4. Right?
Is that right? I think that's right. I believe that's right.
Is he in the bottom 4?
I'll look real quick. Who do you think in the top 4 isn't going to make it while I look that up real quick?
That's a little more of a...
In the top 4 right now, I think it's
Jake is number 13. That was a great call. Great call.
Yeah, I think the top 4 right now is actually really solid. It could be anybody.
So of D'Lo, Rob, your team, and Casey, who is the fake team?
I gotta say D'Lo.
Okay.
I get.
All right. Fair enough.
Rob always pulls through.
Rank these movie sets. These sets of movies. Bad Boys series, Ocean's 11 series, Lord of the Rings series, Star Wars series.
All right, I gotta go Bad Boys first.
Hell yeah.
Then I gotta go Lord of the Rings. Yeah. Then I would go. What's the other option?
Ocean's 11 series and Star Wars series.
Yes, Star Wars and then Ocean's 11.
Wow, Ocean's getting no love. Crazy.
Yeah.
What are the top 3 worst smells? Is your last question.
I think the worst is like that fart bomb smell in that little glass bottle.
Ugh, yeah, that's a good one. All right, that's one.
That's a foul smell. Foul smell.
All right.
Another bad smell. A strong vinegar.
Strong vinegar?
like a sour vinegar.
Yeah.
I guess 3 has got to be a dirty ass.
Dirty ass.
Your mother's ass.
I think I just saw Casey in the comments go shit. Yeah, exactly.
Got to shout out a dirty ass. All right, I guess we'll go 4 questions each then, because I think that was 4 to Joe. Moving, we'll go to Eddie next. All right, I got some good ones here. Would you rather know what your exes are currently thinking about you, or would you rather know what your current partner is thinking about her exes? This one's for Eddie.
Current partner.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Which country has the coolest flag?
I really like Argentina's flag. I like baby blue with the white.
Nice. All right. Allen Iverson or Dwayne Wade?
Dwayne Wade.
All right. And favorite sports movie of all time, no documentaries.
Replacements.
Oh, that was great. All right, Nick, you're up. All right, we're going to go with worst quarterback to ever start at least one game in the NFL.
Ooh.
There's 10 of them playing right now.
Wait, right now you're saying?
Just of all time.
All time.
I just was talking about his name before. DeMarcus Russell? I got it right?
Jamarcus Russell.
DeMarcus.
That's a good one. All right. Who is the greatest war commander of all time?
I'm just going to go Genghis Khan at that point.
That's a good one. That's a great
name.
one.
Wow, I was not expecting that. Okay.
He did probably conquer the most lands.
Yeah.
If you had to eliminate one month of the year, which month are you getting rid of?
February.
Black History Month. Interesting. More.
I got an explanation for later.
All right,
I'm clipping the fuck out of that. Holy
shit. More impressive accomplishments: 6th man of the year or comeback player of the year?
Comeback.
All right, bet. All right, let's go through these. There were some fun ones in there for sure.
Oh, yeah.
We'll start with Joe.
Yeah. Joe, all right, let's get into it. Would you rather mansion in the hills, beach house on the beach, or a penthouse in the Upper West Side? You went with the beach access. I mean, I feel like that's chalk. I feel like beach access when you're like a guy, like an independent soul at heart. The beach is just like the place that you feel like you can.
I feel like it's a no-brainer. Yeah,
it's no-brainer.
You're in paradise. You're in paradise.
Thoughts.
And well, Eddie's right. I want to make sure my beach house is actually next to the beach. You're like beach house by the beach. Where else would it be? Like
direct access. I was gonna say it within the question, it just didn't flow nice, but I did write in parentheses direct access on God, so that was part of the premise.
I agree. I just think at this age, like I just want my peace. I don't want to see anyone from my penthouse. I don't want to be near anyone. Just give me a beach.
Yeah. Mansion in the Hills kind of plays a little bit, but I don't know.
They're right on top of you people. No, you
That's
got somebody on top of you.
Property. Yeah.
Even if you went with like lake house, I would take that over penthouse. You know, like I don't know, living in the city is a 20-year-old's game, like your 20s. That's like when you want to live in a city, when you're running around and having fun, and you want to be close to everything. Once you get to our age, I think we'd all rather have a house than a penthouse, if you will.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's keep it moving here. Which team that's ranked in the bottom 4 you think will make the playoffs, and which team in the top 4 will miss the playoffs? So you went with Jake's team to make the playoffs, and you went with D'Lo's team being the fake team and missing the playoffs. Any reasoning behind your takes, or just throwing it out there, throwing hate towards D'Lo? We love that always.
Well, yeah, the top 4, like I said, I think it's anybody's game, really. I think it's all a waiver wire game and down to the end. I mean, we're starting off hot, but I just feel like Jake has a solid team, and he always seems to pull through, so he's definitely on the bottom side. I think he's the one with the advantage, and then D'Lo always makes a bad move. So
D'Lo would have won this league. I'm not even embellishing right now. If he had just figured out the Hollywood Brown pick and the Kyle Pitts pick a little bit better. Between Chase and Neighbors, I mean, I don't know if anybody has a better combo than that in the league at wide receivers. Now that Chase has kind of seemed to find it, and they're probably going to be on their way now. Again, after that first game, I would assume. What do you have? 2 touchdowns yesterday?
I mean, I think that's a little dramatic. Like, he would have won the league if he had changed.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, his team is so good.
But, I mean,
Patrick Mahomes is chucking the ball 50 times a game now because of the Pacheco injury. Like, the stars are really aligning for this team in a lot of ways.
I mean, Kyle Pitts, I think, is coming around now, especially with Justin Fields in. I mean, he looked good last game.
I think it's too early to tell anything.
Well, yeah, Kyle Pitts and Justin Fields are on different teams, but I think Jake was a great call. I think he's always in the hunt.
Who's Pittsburgh?
Kyle Pitts is on D'Lo's team. We were just talking about D'Lo's team.
Kyle Pitts plays for the Falcons with Kirk Cousins.
My bad. Who's
Justin Fields plays for the Steelers. He used to play for the Bears.
Steelers. That's what I'm thinking about. Who's the other guy, the receiver on the Steelers?
You're thinking of Pickens. George Pickens.
Pickens, my bad.
Yeah, Atlanta. Yeah. No, that makes sense. But I agree with the Jake take too. I mean, the Jake take is interesting. He's got some guys here. Amari Cooper, I don't know if he got seriously hurt in that game, but he has Quentin Johnson. Has he been streaming him like consistently every week? Because that's probably been paying off.
Yeah, no, I think Jake's solid. I think Zach saying he would have won the league if he changed 2 picks is crazy.
D'Lo's team. I like D'Lo's team a lot. I'm hyping D'Lo's team.
Zach is feeling himself from week 1 still, even though he's lost both games since.
I can't even look at people's rosters right now. So.
Yeah. No, I hear you. We can keep it moving.
Yeah, well, let's keep it moving here. Rank these movie sets: Bad Boys series, Ocean's 11 series, Lord of the Rings series, and Star Wars series. I think you blundered this, actually. I think Ocean's 11 series is 1, actually, for me. Ocean's 11 and Ocean's 12, and
I go Star Wars 1, Ocean's 11 2.
Yeah, like that even sounds better. I love Lord of the Rings too. It's tough, man. Lord of the Rings is higher than Star Wars, though. Maybe.
All right, let me take this for a second. Bad Boys is 1 for certain.
Bad Boys Someone mute the host.
Say that Martin Lawrence and Will Smith wasn't a combo for the 8. I'm sorry.
I'll tell you, one of my core memories of my childhood is me and my dad saw Bad Boys 2 together in the theaters, and my dad was a miserable bastard. We'd always joke around, like we'd always be like, me and Al would talk about our dads, be like, shitty ass job, shitty ass wife, shitty ass kids. Like we'd joke around, like our dads were always miserable. And then my dad, he came out of Bad Boys 2 and was like, great action, great comedy, great screen chemistry between Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. He was like, loved Bad Boys 2, great movie. As for Oceans, as soon as the big twist was fucking what's her face, Julia Roberts, her character looking like Julia Roberts was a plot line. Yeah. That was fucking awful. That's one of the worst cinematic things in history.
I think Bad Boys 1 and Bad Boys 3 aren't that good.
That's I think Bad Boys 2 is hard to say it without saying it right now. Bad Boys 2 is a classic. No one
Bad Boys 2 might have the best movie.
You're making the argument. You just didn't
see 1 and 3 were awful.
Yeah, but I don't think Bad Boys 1 was awful, but Bad Boys 2 does carry. Bad Boys 3 wasn't very good.
I would have to go with the same thing. I feel like, though, you have to remember Bad Boys 1 sets up Bad Boys 2. So it's like you can't have the storyline going in like Bad Boys 2 without Bad Boys 1. So I feel like you can't put Bad Boys 1 as like one of those, like, it wasn't
Bad
that
Boys
good.
1 is a low-key fire, dark themed, like nice movie, actually. It's a it's a good movie.
It's got some quotables when he's like, and some Skittles, like, you know, you know what I mean? Like, there's some good quotables of Bad Boys 1.
Like Mad Ecstasy and shit. I remember there was a lot of drug theme in that movie. It was a lot darker of a movie. I liked
the soundtrack was fire from that.
Soundtrack was gassed in that movie too.
Like
yeah,
soundtrack.
Bad Boys and Bad Boys 2 both had fire soundtracks.
And I definitely have Lord of the Rings over Oceans. Lord of the Rings over Oceans for me. I'm a bit of a nerd. I read the books. And shit.
That's now we're getting to the nerd side. Like Lord of the Rings is a whole different. And Star Wars is a whole different thing. That's why I was asking. Like,
I feel like you have to put Lord of the Rings. You have to put Lord of the Rings a little bit above.
Yeah, Two Towers is a legendary movie.
Ocean's 11 has classic. You know what? Brad Pitt.
Bro, you talk about a classic movie.
Roberts.
With the star power.
Wasn't George Clooney? George Clooney was in Ocean.
Don Cheadle.
I mean, great cast.
Bernie Mac on the wall.
Bernie Mac.
I like the fantasy sci-fi rather than.
Exactly.
At the time, you know, now.
But see, like Zach, how you're talking about like the actors to it. Is Ocean's 11 is the Ocean series good because of the actors or because of the story? Because I feel like you went into like how the actors.
Oh, it's always the actors.
Good at both. The casino heist is fantastic.
The casino heist is amazing though in Ocean's 11 original. It's like amazing with the whole thing, the Bellagio and the way the whole thing.
By the way,
the fight, the tights girl, was it Lennox Lewis fight? Yeah.
On Ocean's 12, the bad guy, I saw that guy in Rio. The
dancing guy?
He's cool. He's a good actor. He was in another movie with Jennifer Aniston and Clive Owen. He's really good. I'm trying to think of that movie.
Yeah, I know the name. I don't know the name, but...
And he's in one of my low-key favorite movies of all time, Trance, with James McAvoy and Rosario Dawson. Yeah, that is like the greatest low-key movie of all time. That's like in my top 10, Trance. Incredible movie.
Crazy that you would just pull that out of nowhere, but yeah, he is in that. That's crazy. I don't even think
guy in that. He's the bank. He's the art robber in that. Yeah.
Crazy. Wow. All right, let's keep it moving, Joe. Last one. What are the top 3 worst smells? You said vinegar, the little bomb smell that people do in high school, and you said shit itself. Shit.
Yo, the fart smell is the worst, bro. I have a story. When we were in fucking high school, we used to terrorize our bus driver. And it was like 3 of us. We each had 2 little fucking vials. So 6 of them in the back of the bus, bro. We cracked them at the same time. Midway through the ride, bus driver had everyone get off the bus for like 10 minutes.
Oh my God.
It was bad.
Oh, that's
that smell is just so foul. It's like nasty. It's like
they probably couldn't drive. Their eyes are probably watering.
Yo, puke is up there too, actually. I didn't even think about it.
I have a low-key terrible smell. And athletes will know, if you have a lacrosse bag, a hockey bag, a football bag that holds all your pads in it, or all your gear in it, that shit is fucking foul.
That's what I learned, that you gotta let that shit air out, man. You can't leave it in the bag.
Same sports, your gloves, your lacrosse gloves or your football gloves fucking stink like a smell you've never smelled. But that's just my low-key shout-outs. Anybody else have smell shout-outs?
I'm surprised, Joe, you didn't say dog shit.
Dog shit.
I could tolerate dog shit. I can't tolerate.
You said shit. You said shit though.
He said a dirty ass.
I've had issues like opening Tupperware and rotten food. Just
Oh.
Like some shit that I just forgot in the back, and then all of a sudden you open it and it's just mold in your fucking face.
That's
that like actually makes you sick, like physically ill.
To me is also a shitty smell. Bad fish.
That smell reminds me of Casey.
Yeah. I think he's watching, so shout out to Casey. All right, go ahead, John. Take it away with Nick here.
All right, I'll start with Nick. Eddie walked out. I'm just gonna cut right to it. If you could get rid of 1 month of the year, you said February. You said you had an explanation. Let's let you get to it.
So I hate cold months, 100%. So for me, I can't get rid of. So the reason I was gonna say December before, but I love Christmas, I love New Year's, I love that whole time of the holidays. So I can't get rid of December. I feel like February, yes, I understand Black History Month onto that, but besides that, in all retrospect, there's really not much going on besides Black History Month. There's not like anything like crazy going on to that. So like that's why I chose February, and it was like a toss up between that or January. But I feel like February is just like that hump of getting into spring.
It's a very New York perspective of it, because I love February in Arizona because first off, you've got preseason baseball, really cool here.
Yeah, spring training.
It's also like 75, 76, perfect weather.
Well, see, I'm coming from a New Yorker perspective.
You're East Coast.
Yeah, that's what he said. But yeah, no, it's basically you love Christmas. January's cool. Black History Month, take it or leave it. We get it. We understand. But I'm just fucking with you. No, your explanation actually makes sense.
The whole justification is perfect. If it was for any other month, it wouldn't even be a thing. Your justification would have been great. This whole take would have been boring, and it would have been perfect. The fact that you said Black History Month actually is what made the take actually chef's kiss. Thank you for that. Yeah, that was
all right. So another one we had was more impressive accomplishments: 6th Man of the Year or Comeback Player of the Year. You went with Comeback Player. I think I'd have to agree. But then again, it also depends on like the year somewhat. Like like I like when a Comeback Player of the Year is like a good ass comeback, like an Alex Smith. His whole leg was fucking shattered, destroyed. I don't like when it's just like someone who like. I don't know. I'm trying to think of
who won it. Like it was off like Geno Smith. I think he just won it because he became the starter.
Yeah, exactly. Like he came off the bench.
The comeback is not like a thing. He's coming back from being a backup, and now what? Like they exactly. Wilson, and they're just like kind of
I just always appreciate the kind of the story behind like a comeback player. Like I feel like 6th man. I feel like there's too many tangibles that come from a 6th man that you can't really like. To me, I can't justify it too much. Like, it's a great accomplishment. But for you to literally say, I had a shit year, I haven't done anything, I feel like I can't have this chance, when you're given the chance and then all of a sudden you take it into a whole different perspective. I feel like comeback always shows, like, the work ethic of you as a person coming back. Like, even for me, I don't know if he won it, but, like, I even like how Jared Goff, like, if I'm just doing, like, quarterbacks. I don't think he ever won.
That's the problem, though. That's not really a comeback in a sense. Like comeback is Joe Burrow, who like shattered his foot or whatever, his ankle, he tore his ACL, whatever the fuck happened, whatever happened to him, and he was out for a while, right? And
all right, so maybe like Goff isn't the best example, but I'm just thinking of just like he was traded away from the team that believed in him, went to the Super Bowl with him.
I think what you're trying to get at is basically it's usually a situation where a lesser man would have let their career go by the wayside.
Right.
Like it was an opportunity where they could have quit or they could have given up on themselves or just not fought hard to get back to a good spot, and they persevered. So I respect that. Quick shout out to this year's 6th Man of the Year, though, Nas Reed. I fucking love that guy. Minnesota people were getting tattoos.
That dude was a beast. He almost would. There was a.
He's a starter on that.
He was just carrying that Timberwolves team at one point.
I'm gonna flip over to Eddie and come back to Nick because of time constraints. So, would you rather know what your exes are currently thinking about you, or know what your current partner is thinking about her exes? You went with current partner. I just want to hear your explanation.
I just don't care about my exes.
Hey.
What they think, what they don't think. I've got a beautiful fiance and a kid, and besides that, nothing I need to know.
So basically what he's saying is all I care about is the other thoughts.
He's like,
bye.
There's a reason they're exes. They're in the past. So I'm not going back there. I don't think any of you guys go back there.
No.
Sometimes. But I also like it because, like, you could think about it as, like, oh, this will piss me off, but you could also be like, all right, I know something that my current partner thinks about her ex that could be valuable information to make me a better partner to my current partner. Like, oh, I miss when my ex used to do this. My current boyfriend doesn't do that. And you could be like, oh, now I can implement that into my game.
That's a slippery slope, though, because at the end of the day, when you're with a new person,
what I was getting. As long as you're not compromising your personality, you know.
Yeah,
right.
I think it's more just trust built over the relationship, where I don't see anything everything that could be there anyway.
Yeah.
Of what
I
it
mean,
is.
the ideal answer is probably both, but you have to pick one in this hypothetical.
Right. Of course, that's the ideal answer.
Both as in neither. Like, you don't know what either of them think.
I mean, I wouldn't really care.
Yeah.
It's useless information that you're getting at, essentially.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
What do you think, Joe? You're married.
I agree with Eddie. I mean, you know, if you're a dog, you're a dog. So it depends on what side are you on.
I don't know what you mean by that, but I'm just gonna let it float. I think. If you're a dog, you're a dog, baby.
You're a dog, you're a dog.
I mean, it's fair. It's true. If you're a dog, you're a dog. That's it.
All right, what country has the coolest flag? Coming from a Brazilian, he went Argentina. That is something. Let me hear. I know you like the baby blue and the white, that little gold in the middle.
Yeah, I think Argentina is a beautiful country. I think they have the best barbecue in the world, and I think their flag looks sick.
Hell yeah!
Especially when you're, like when you're playing FIFA, it shows like the AFA thing, but when you're actually looking at the flag, it's the baby blue, white baby blue, and
I think the gold insignia in the center is sick.
I think that
nice.
looks fucking.
Yeah,
I think that looks fucking awesome.
That's a good one.
Let's go around the panel. Everyone pick their flag. You go first, Zach.
Oh, you want me to go? I don't know. I'm between a couple right now. I like South Africa's colors a lot. The way the stripes come in, that's a real cool one.
Cool pattern. Represents apartheid.
Jamaica has a nice flag as well. I like Jamaica. I like the Brazilian flag, to be honest. I like the yellow. I'll be honest, but I'm surprised Eddie doesn't like it as much. But the baby blue is nice. If you're trying to look for a baby blue, you can pick Israel though too. Just saying. Anyway, no. I'm just kidding. But anyway, but yeah, Argentina's a good one. I like Argentina.
I also had Jamaica that's where my head was, Jamaica. I really think they have a cool flag. Yeah. Go ahead, Joe.
I'm gonna say USA. But,
you got
Italy. Italy is a beautiful flag.
What a cheap hop of a pick.
That's such a painter pick.
Yeah.
It's easy. No, Dominican Republic has a beautiful flag too.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Wow.
This may not be popular, but the fucking Russian sickle with that shit is fucking cool. I don't like Russia.
Iron sickle.
Yeah. Soviet Union.
Turkey's flag also looks powerful as fuck with that quarter moon and covered by red.
Oh
I might be wrong, and I feel like I'll probably be wrong, but Moldova I think is red with a black eagle in the middle or something cool like that.
I'm gonna look
Albania.
it up. Moldova.
No, it's Albania. I think it might be Albania actually.
Moldova. Blue, yellow, red with this thing in the front.
Look up Albania. I think
it's Albania is the one that I'm thinking of.
I think Albania has a dope flag. Honestly,
it's red with black flat dragon looking thing.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. Good call, Joey. Very smart.
Very smart.
Nick, what's your favorite flag?
Well, for me, it's gonna be Jamaica. I come from full Jamaican heritage, so that's just always been my go-to all the time.
Black with the green and
it is a nice flag. So I was at the YMCA. They have all the flags where you go to the track. There's all the flags, and that's what inspired this question. And Jamaica stood out to me when I was looking at all the flags.
Yeah.
All right, and then the next one for Eddie was, what is your favorite sports movie? No documentaries, and without missing a beat, he went Replacements. Great answer.
Yeah, great answer.
I mean, Keanu Reeves is one of my favorite all-time actors. He's also a fantastic human being in terms of just being humble and.
Keanu's the man.
The movie was it was a funny movie.
It's a great movie.
I can watch it right now and be entertained through the whole movie.
If you had basic cable growing up, TBS or whatever the fuck, on
TNT.
there, every TNT or TBS,
Bro, when that guy starts eating the eggs,
and you're always watching,
he's dying every time.
Yeah. They flip the
car.
They
got a lot of great characters. Me and Eddie always talk about playmakers. I think we talked about playmakers on the show before also. But the Replacements also did a really good job with the football tropes. Where it's the gambling kicker, the washed up quarterback, the crazy linebacker,
the receiver with no hands.
Exactly. So, and my favorite scene from that movie is when they're fucking in. They start doing the dance in the jail cell to "I Will Survive," and then the coach gets there. And the deaf guy is just still dancing while the rest of them like casually stop dancing. And the deaf guy is just still dancing while the fucking coach walks in.
Gene Hackman, shout out Gene Hackman, also another legend playing the head coach there. I mean, the movie is just killer all time.
Sneaky Jon Favreau, great director as the middle linebacker Danny.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Mind blown.
Yeah, I'm more on the classic.
That was a fucking.
Yeah. I don't think I've
ever known that, John. That was nuts what you just said. Holy fuck.
The Sandlot's a that's chalk. That's A1.
He got game is another.
He got game, super quotable.
Coach
Carter.
Coach Carter. You can't go wrong with that movie.
Any Given Sunday, Jimmy Fox, Dennis Quaid, Al Pacino.
And obviously the other super chalk is Remember the Titans. I don't care what anybody says. If I see fucking Wood Harris and whoever played Gary Bertier, I don't know the actor's name.
Strong.
That scene will fucking give me chills every fucking time. I don't care.
It's so good.
He's like, "Woo, Petey!" Fucking, and it also created one of my favorite memes of all time, where it's like, what's his name? Oh shit, I'm gonna fuck it up right now. The Notebook guy, Ryan Gosling. All the girls can like Ryan Gosling all they want, but don't forget he was an absolute liability at quarterback. Fucking one of the best memes of all time.
What's his name from Scrubs? Takes his place. What's his name?
Donald Faison.
Donald Faison. Yeah.
He's smart with flags. I'm smart with names.
Good point.
And then the last question for Eddie was Allen Iverson or Dwayne Wade. I was trying to bait you here. I was hoping you'd say Iverson so I could debate you, but fucking.
I mean, I just think in terms of better player, most likely better teammate, more true to his craft. I also think. I mean, I remember I was at the Knicks team when they were up. I think Knicks were up 11, and someone elbowed D Wade in the face and drew blood. This motherfucker went and scored 18 in a row to beat us. And that's when I was like, that guy could go to a different level if he wanted to.
So could AI, for the record.
I just think he's just a better player overall.
I have overall player. I think
shout out to Lozada for my favorite overall player there.
Dwayne Wade.
Dwayne Wade is the most underrated basketball player of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah. He was so good.
He's been on so many good. I have to say, he's been on so many good teams. Allen Iverson has carried trash to the finals and won a finals game against that Lakers team, which is not possible.
Name 3 players on Dwayne Wade's first championship team before LeBron and Bosh got there, off the top of your head.
Shaq,
Gary Payton.
I believe Chalmers was on there.
Shaq, Mario Chalmers.
Haslam.
I don't think Chalmers was there yet.
Chalmers wasn't there, but
Haslam, of course.
Chocolate was there.
Haslam, yes.
Yeah, with Battier, I think was on that team.
All right, now listen to the names that you're listing. Like these are fast players.
Nothing like. I don't remember. Was that also during like
Antoine Walker? Sounds right.
Very easy East.
Walker was on there. Was Morning on there at that time?
But you can say it was a very easy East, but they still beat the same Mavericks team in the final virtually that they lost to with LeBron James and Chris Bosh.
I'm talking about Philly. I think Philly had a very
yeah.
I think Philly, if they were in the West, they would have lost in the second round. They wouldn't have beaten Sacramento back then. They wouldn't have beaten San Antonio back then. They wouldn't have beaten. There's a ton of teams they would not have beaten.
And we're comparing a guy bringing a team to get swept in the finals or win one game. Excuse me, Iverson got one. I apologize. Versus a team that won the finals with these guys.
Yeah. Also, individually, Allen Iverson has an MVP. I don't think Wade ever won that. Steals, obviously, it was Iverson. He was a great steals and underrated assist guy. Iverson was an underrated passer. There are years that Iverson averaged more than 7 assists a game, like probably multiple years in his career. Underrated assist guy.
When Dwayne Wade,
I'm just devil's advocate because no one is here. I'm just playing devil's advocate just because.
No, Zach brings up a just
I'm just bringing up points that I think that.
I just think when Wade
on defense as a whole, as a guy, I just like
there was no stopping that. He was unstoppable. He was unguardable.
He was the best player on those finals teams.
Commercial, like ball down 7 times,
carried, like
get up 8.
He was the best player by far. Yeah,
I think it also goes into credit to the fact that the Heat were constructed with Wade to where Wade can play to potential, and it felt like Iverson always had to kick it an extra gear to keep the Sixers keep going. I think from going into that.
Dwayne Wade had an extra gear too, though, that he kicked into to fucking win playoffs
very well. Like you had
when Flash was born.
If you look up what he did when he was down 2-0, his numbers for those last 4 Maverick games, they're like 46, 45. Like he went
nuts.
One of the most dominant performances I've ever seen.
And maybe only Eddie and I remember.
He's playing next to a guy that people say is the best player ever, though.
Marquette Dwayne Wade was a problem too.
Oh God, you
just already lost some. Dallas Mavericks were flying.
I hear you, but that roster on Dallas, like, who's on that team versus like LeBron James?
What are you talking about? You mean Dirk?
But the team, Zach, your argument falls apart on itself because that Mavericks team beat the Heat with LeBron James.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't a lot of turnover from that team either.
No, it's virtually the same players. They might have added older guys, like
Stevenson, maybe wasn't
like
there,
Jason
or something like
Kidd
that, like different role players.
Yeah, exactly. Like an old Jason Kidd is who I think they had, who they didn't have. Which obviously a great leader in the locker room, but he wasn't on the court dominating when they won that championship against the Heat the first year of the Big Three.
We're talking about Wade, though, for the record.
Jason Terry was really good.
But I'm saying, I think taking away points because Wade played with LeBron, like I'll take Dwayne Wade before any of that era even happened versus Allen Iverson. If you tell me the best Dwayne Wade year like that he ever had, I would say it's probably before LeBron James even got there.
I agree.
Like I said, I'll take Marquette Dwayne Wade versus Georgetown Allen Iverson.
I agree with that.
I can even agree.
That I agree with. The college one is for sure.
No, at least I was gonna say in 08, 09, he was top scorer, all points. In NBA, like the game for Xbox, I forgot what it was at the time. He was unstoppable. You couldn't stop him. Like his spin move was 99. His fucking power was like in the 90s. Jump, everything.
Wade you're talking about? Yeah. Especially driving.
One last point I'll make about Dwayne Wade, which is like something that comes up a lot with like obviously we talk about the GOAT debate, Jordan, LeBron, blah blah blah. It's like Jordan had Pippen, blah blah blah. Dwayne Wade is better than Scottie Pippen, no question, at all.
I agree.
If you're talking who's the best teammate either of them have ever had,
you can't compare that. You like it's a
defender as a defender is the argument. The defensive conversation.
But Dwayne Wade played good deep.
The guy that guarded the best player always.
All right, LeBron James, I think Dwayne Wade led a team to a championship by himself before LeBron James. Scottie Pippen is not leading any team to a championship.
I think to credit even what Haas is saying is like when LeBron James came in, he didn't have to worry about D Wade if he needed something else. Like Dwayne Wade's already led a team. Now it's like LeBron, here's your chance. I'll just have your backup.
It's also that you lean the scoring
over Jordan a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's also that you lean to the scoring side. Like between Pippen and Wade, if they're both very good at something, you have to lean to the guy that scores more points versus the guy that's the great defender. Because really, in generational talent, even if Pippen's guarding Barkley's still going to get his points. Pippen may do things.
You have to put the ball in the basket first.
You have to put the ball in the basket first. So Wade gets real quick always, and also the ring thing, like you said, he led a team to the championship. It was his team. Shaq was just over the hill, but it doesn't matter. It was his team. Yeah, and I agree with that. So,
and like Eddie said, those last 4 games he dominated. But Eddie, I know you got to get out of here. You got 2 minutes. Any final thoughts, parting shots? One more fuck Casey for the road, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, Casey knows where I stand with him. He's probably the biggest piece of shit we have in our league, probably in all leagues.
I'll clip it.
Honestly, it pains me to open the group chat and see his fucking name in there every day. But what I would like to say is I love you guys and appreciate you guys having me on here.
Glad you made it back alive from Miami. We're happy to see you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't feel normal till like yesterday.
Yeah.
Get back on my fantasy because I think I left like 100 points on the bench because
I did that while we were in Miami. I left like 100 points on the bench. Miami got both of us, so we were the two least optimal lineups for those following weeks after Miami. So
and he still got his dub though. He still took me out though.
Yeah, I woke up at like 4 a.m. and like because Francesca got up, and then I looked, and like it was all of a sudden it was 9:49, and I look and Kenneth Walker's out, and I'm like, oh, this is.
I think you started the Jaguars defense against the Bills or something crazy.
Yeah.
I
was a Burrow throw away from winning though.
Yeah, well, you were a Brenton Strange, his backup tight end, because Kittle's hurt touchdown away from winning. That was the one touchdown Jacksonville scored, and it was against you.
I think he deserved to win, and I deserved to lose because I didn't even really look.
Yeah, you started the Jacksonville Jaguars defense versus Cleveland. Wow.
Or versus Buffalo, but
you did it versus Cleveland. Did you do it again this week? No, you didn't.
In between,
I'm looking at 2 weeks ago. But
when you guys were down there. Oh,
no, but Jimmy never deserves to win. He's been putting out shitty product week in and week out.
Yeah. Jags defense -3 against the Bills.
Yeah, it is what it is. We'll be
back.
It
is what it is.
Stronger.
Thank you.
Good.
Appreciate you.
Love you guys.
That was mad gay, me blowing a kiss, but it's all good.
All right, since we're on it though, let's go through some of the matchups. Let's think of some of the people.
Well, let's wrap up Nick's last couple questions. I don't want to sell him short.
Oh yeah, you got questions for him still? Go ahead.
Yeah. I just switched to Eddie because the time. I figured I'd get Eddie done so he can get out of here. Perfect. But which QB to ever start a game in the NFL? He went with Jamarcus Russell. Solid answer. I write the questions thinking about my own answers to them, and I had to go Nathan Peterman. That was the worst quarterback play I've ever seen.
I was throwing in my head a few of them, but I feel like I was just talking about this with some other buddies, and I was just like, that man really just like, I feel like just never showed anything like he was worth of being picked up when he was.
He was so bad because he got $60 million before they used to do this rule.
Right.
For first-round quarterbacks and the amount of money that they were able to make.
And just like his IQ on the field just was shit. Like he just couldn't. It just never made sense to me. Like what happened to where
he went to LSU, right? Is that right?
Yeah, went to LSU, was a #1 overall pick. They absolutely destroyed Notre Dame in the bowl game, who had Brady Quinn, who was like the consensus quarterback at that time. And that like jumped him up to #1, kind of like that game where he was spectacular. But that, I think, like, your answer is almost better than Peterman because he actually was a high draft pick, #1 overall, had expectations, whereas Peterman was fucking, just coming in because the Bills quarterback got hurt and then started the next game and threw 5 interceptions in the first half and maybe never saw him again. It's more of a footnote.
It was like 7. I don't know why. I thought it was like something like more insane.
It was 5.5 in one half. It was 5. Yeah. It could have been 7 by the end of the game.
I remember it being egregious, like really, like something insanity. Like
Joey, you got a name on your mind?
I do. I have 2 names.
What do you got?
Brock Osweiler popped into my head before. He was a bust. He was such a bust.
He had his 2 days in the sun.
Ton of money.
Yeah, ton of money. True. Ton of money.
And I'm trying to think of the lefty from Miami. I don't know why I'm blanking out right now.
Ryan Tannehill.
Lefty from Miami. Tua Tagovailoa.
No.
Pennington.
I don't remember.
No. What was the next one?
Chad Pennington wasn't a lefty.
He just threw like
maybe it's not Miami.
The only lefty quarterbacks I can think
Aaron Hernandez
are Michael Vick and Tua. That's the only lefty quarterbacks I have off the top of my head.
Miami.
The lefty quarterback.
Where did Aaron Hernandez go?
Tebow's a righty.
Tim Tebow.
Wait, are you thinking of
Tim Tebow's a lefty. Good call. You're thinking of Tim Tebow is the name you couldn't find in your head?
Tebow.
Yeah. Tim Tebow was a lefty.
He was on Miami. He was on Miami, wasn't he?
I don't remember.
I thought he was on
Jets. He was on Denver. He had the whole playoff game that he won, or made the playoffs.
He was Jets. He was Broncos.
So he was a lefty because I remember his only throw that he can make consistently is a slant to his left.
Oh, Matt Leinert's another.
That's the throw to Demaryius Thomas in the playoffs that won the game was a slant to the left, and then he just took off.
Maybe Matt Leinart is another name he might have been thinking of. Is that a lefty?
No, Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow was what I was thinking about.
Yeah, I think he's thinking of Tebow. And I think he just Dolphins, Denver, they both start with a D, close enough.
Oh, is it Dolphins?
Yeah.
No.
I just remember that one throw to Demaryius Thomas. Rest in peace, yo. Crazy.
Yeah, Tim Tebow had a crazy run in college, but yeah, he was a woeful NFL quarterback to watch. But it's hard to argue him because he'd find ways to win games, like running the ball. I remember the game against the Jets. Obviously, the playoff game, everyone remembers the throw to Demaryius Thomas. But I remember one game against the Jets where he was probably 3 for 14 with like 17 yards passing going into the fourth quarter, and they were like, the defense kept him in it. And then he like led a drive where it was like a college football Michigan against USC the other night drive where they just ran the ball
pulled it off
every play down the field, and then he found the corner of the end zone running the ball. But I mean, that's a good pull too, because he was maybe not the worst because he like had a moxie about him where he could find ways to make big plays sometimes.
It happened sometimes.
But he was definitely among the most painful to watch.
One of the worst passers of the ball ever.
Yeah, all time.
All time.
It just didn't.
Form, everything. All of it.
There's high school quarterbacks who have better arms.
God, brutal.
What about you, Zach? Anything wants to throw in?
A couple names that I like that are kind of just shooting stars. Matt Flynn's always a good name. I love shouting out as the shooting star. I'm trying to think of some others.
I thought about Matt Flynn briefly. Yeah. I thought about him.
You said fantasy start, right? Is that what you said?
I just said worst to start ever in the NFL.
Or ever. I thought you said fantasy start for some reason, so I was thinking of guys that actually started in fantasy. Oh, just in general, like ever started a game? Oh, there's so many names. Ryan Leaf is a name that comes to mind.
Oof, he was brutal.
He was brutal. Colt McCoy never really found anything.
I kind of find Colt McCoy to be like a good backup to start a game or two. You know, like he could win you one. I mean, he's beaten the Cowboys a couple times.
Down cousin or something like that. You know,
I remember fucking after my dad died, the fucking Redskins played the Cowboys, and Colt McCoy was the quarterback, and they fucking beat the Cowboys, and I was I kicked everybody
roster. He can manage a win.
I kicked everybody out. I was like, everybody's got to leave. After the Redskins beat the Cowboys the week after my dad died, I was like, everybody's got to go. I'm done for the night. I think there would have been one female that let stay.
Do we throw Zach Wilson onto this list?
Oh, wow.
Painful.
Absolutely. We can throw Zach Wilson onto this list.
And he has arm talent, which sucks because he's actually like he just doesn't have any mind for it.
Downfield vision, like that man.
We're talking about Zach Wilson though. We have to just comment on how Joe Douglas is so lucky that Aaron Rodgers came to New York, or I don't know if
he'd be out of a job between him and Saleh.
I think both of them would be fucked, and I also think that Saleh is still on the hot seat in some sense, a warm seat. Because of just like who he is and how he's managed this fucking team.
I mean, you can't be like he's lucky when he's the guy who signed him. Like they negotiated the contract.
Aaron willing to come to the New York and saying I want to be on the Jets and making the announcement, that was huge for them. That really was a major win to save him from blundering that number 2 overall pick of Zach Wilson and blundering other picks too. I think the only picks he's gotten really right are Braylon Allen, Brees.
Quarterbacks are hard, dude. You can't. I don't get so. Like you can't be so hard on GMs for not drafting good quarterbacks high. It's just tough. Like there's some that are egregious, like that are like, why did you take this guy here? Like, but for the most part, it's like, man, if you went through every GM's resume, the best and the worst, you'll find a quarterback bust.
I guess that's fair. It's just, I guess, the real estate because it's number 2 overall is what I'm saying.
Besides the Packers. The Packers are the only team that's avoided that somehow.
Yeah, and the Niners in some way somehow.
Yeah, it's a
Niners took Alex Smith over Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean?
That was a bad. Yeah, but they made an NFC Championship game.
Yeah, no, he wasn't terrible, but
he wasn't terrible.
They could have had Aaron Rodgers. And he's from the Bay, went to Cal. You know,
crazy. Makes no sense. Yeah, that one makes no sense.
And then one more is the greatest war commander of all time. He went Super Chalk, Genghis Khan. You know,
that was a good name. That was a good pull, though.
I had to throw it in. If you're telling me War Commander, like that's the first one that came in my mind.
Javi would have froze.
What'd you say?
I said if you asked that question to Javi would have froze on the pod. He would have been like,
well, the funny thing is, Javi actually probably would have had a few. Like instead of knowing a Mexican athlete, he actually know. He'd know
I'm
a
sorry, I LOL with that one.
Mexican
Mexican
athlete.
athlete. Can't even name
The name
one.
of Mexican athlete, so in my head, I'm like, he's not pulling Genghis Khan. What the fuck? Like,
No, he'd probably be like fucking Stonewall Jackson from the Civil War for the Union side. You know?
oh my god, that's that slave owner or something, whatever the fuck. Oh my god.
Oh, so we can mention a rapist and murderer and
Yeah.
fucking,
Genghis Khan, right,
but Stonewall is crossing the line, or Robert E. Lee. You know what I mean? Like, where are we drawing the line?
We're drawing the line when Nick says, "I want to get rid of February Black History Month." That's when we're drawing the line.
No, we literally probably draw the line at Hitler. If you're like, Hitler's the greatest war commander, I think that's the one where you're like, yeah, I mean, that's a line too far.
I was gonna say another name. Oh my god, it just slipped my brain. But
Stalin,
no, like Pol
Pot from
Pot.
Cambodia.
Thank you. Yeah, that guy.
Cambodia.
Yeah.
Very smart, very smart. I give myself a very smart for that
Wow.
one.
Ghani.
But,
There you go.
Stonewall Jackson was a good poll too.
Yeah,
But
that's a funny one.
what about you, Joey? You said I think you were bringing up somebody before. We
I was
kind of
just
cut
fucking
you off.
around. I said Marcus
Mhm.
Aurelius, but
Hey, I mean, ancient Rome was quite the empire.
Rome had many. Yeah, there's many Roman.
Napoleon.
Napoleon, I thought too, definitely came to mind.
Gotta give a shout to Napoleon.
Well, we did some other Civil War, so I'll just shit on someone real quick. Ulysses S. Grant. We talk about like guys getting lucky in sports. Like he got lucky in the fucking Civil War. Fucking,
Yeah.
he was
Twice.
trash.
I think
That
it was
guy.
twice. Yeah.
Ulysses S. Grant was a trash general.
Trash human. Yeah,
Yo,
trash human.
Washington was.
Well, he was a president and shit too, but he was a trash general. He fought on the right side at least.
Yeah.
Casey just texted me Alexander the Great. He wants to get in on the show.
Wow. Nice. I like that one.
Alexander
I like
the
that.
Great.
I like that. Alexander the Great. Got to.
That's
yeah.
who Napoleon modeled his game off of. So
Exactly.
shout out Napoleon.
Alexander the Great. It's a great name.
And in more modern history, like Patton is a good one. You know,
Is that George?
Eisenhower.
Yeah.
I'll give a shout out to.
Yeah.
Trying to think. That's about it. That's all I
Yeah.
got.
Yeah, I think I'm tapped there. That was a lot of war generals, a lot more than I thought. Holy shit.
Eisenhower. I brought up in our group chat how one president, Gerald Ford, was an All-American guard at Michigan. Eisenhower was actually a nice little slot back at Army West Point.
Oh shit. They can catch the ball out of the backfield? Not bad.
2D. Well, no, like the slot and like the wing T, like.
Oh,
Catch-
so
taking
he's
the
blocked.
counters and the
He's out,
options.
he's out leaning. Yeah.
Taking the counters and the options, going in motion, jet sweeps, shit like that. But
Yeah.
those are the two presidents who played D1 football.
So
Yeah.
Ford and what was the other one?
Dwight Eisenhower.
Dwight
Eisenhower.
Eisenhower. All right, I'm just going through the matchups right now, just looking at some stuff. Since Casey's following along with us, definitely shouts to Casey 3-0. Fuck you, bro. We're all coming for you, so you sit tight. Enjoy your little throne for now. With all the
Talk your
spikes
shit.
on it. Game of Thrones, talk your shit. But I mean, anybody got any special performances? Anything they want to shout out this week? Anything at all?
I'm playing HOTS this week, I think.
I think we should switch it up from the recaps and just we all pick one matchup and pick who we think are going to win and put our fucking nuts on the table beforehand.
All right.
As opposed to just
okay.
like,
I like
this
that.
guy's fucking good. This guy had 20 points. This guy had 40 points. You know.
All right. I'm
But
on week 4 here.
One real quick shout out. I will say, fucking Casey, Juwan Jennings, very very nice play, big brain play, and it worked out huge for him. Got him most points.
Yeah,
You know, big $50 win there. I was fucking sweating Monday Night Football. Joey was coming for my ass. Casey was coming for my ass, and of course I can't hold on. Fucking could have used that $50 for fucking nice little Chipotle 3 nights in a row or something.
Yeah.
Fucking pissed.
I got a couple shouts. That's all right. Just a couple seconds here. Some people.
Yeah. Get some
Yeah.
shouts in, and then we'll all pick a game or pick a matchup.
So shouts to you, Johnny. Even though, Casey keeps saying I'm ball washing, but your Packers play very nice. Love to see it.
Hey.
On the road defense, putting up that amount of points. I mean, go and find it. That's tough noogies. So shouts to you. I like the Jake Ferguson play by Javi right off the injury. Gets 15 points, 138. Big win for Javi. Javi is on the board now as a dub for the season. Shouts to you, Javi. Welcome to the fucking party. And yeah, just to mention this to all of you, our viewers as well. Main team is officially fucking dead. And he is 0-3. And teams that go 0-3 statistically are like less than 10% to make the playoffs in our league. So I wish you luck, good sir. Moving right along, Ficini, shouts to you. Lowest score I've seen in years, 57.06. It's pretty unfucking believable. And to be honest, 2 of his guys had 13 and 11. Otherwise, I saw multiple guys with less than 8. So got back to the drawing board. All right, keep it moving. But yeah, we already said shout out to Casey. Shouts to Joey. Happy birthday, Joey. I took an L, unfortunately. There was no stopping it. Joey put up a nice 147 piece.
All right. Real quick, I'm going to put a disclaimer for this. Casey, I'm not going to read all your texts. You could write in the fucking comments if you want. But he did say to me, Zach is like, Javi, welcome to the party, when he has the exact same record as Javi. So just wanted to call that out real quick.
I had like double the amount of points, but whatever. But anyway.
This week.
Not this week though. He has 30 more than me this week. That's true.
Hey, Zach,
but yeah, my match was shit. What can I say?
But that was Casey's last text into the show.
Yeah. Shouts to you, Casey. I'm in 7th place. I'm in 7th place, right in the center. What can I say? What are you
gonna do? No, Joey's 3-0. Shout out to Joe, fucking balling out.
Yeah.
Obviously, Derrick Henry versus my fucking dreaded Cowboys. God, I'm so miserable. I'm like, Matt. I'm like pissed at work. I'm like, it's like it is honestly. Like I know a lot of football fans feel the exact same way, but the way the Cowboys win-loss that week affects my mood for the rest of the week is fucking terrible. Like, it's something I need to work on as a human being, that I don't let it affect my relationships with other people, because I get very upset and like it fucks with my mood. And it's like good, like I'm happy they're playing on Thursday night. Like I have a chance to like quickly wash this loss out, hopefully against the Giants. But yeah, I mean, that was a good. Derrick Henry went off, obviously. Good shit, Joe. Third in the league in points this week behind me and Casey. But yeah, I think I'll start so you guys have a chance to look. I'm going to go through the matchups, and I'm going to call a winner and a loser, and we'll figure out maybe throughout the year some way to like track this, and we'll put some sort of like me versus Zach.
I'll start this week at least.
All right, so me versus Zach, whoever does worse, we'll figure out some sort of bet of cool. We got to pay off on the podcast at the end of it.
Okay.
So I'm going to start with, I got to go to standings, look at the matchups. This is harder than I thought because I don't understand fucking sleeper. But,
I got my pick for this week already.
All right, go ahead. Sorry. I apologize.
Gridlock. Disfat Biji. Eddie Lozada playing BBL Drizzy. This looks like a dub. I think Khalil Herbert's healthy. I haven't seen a designation on him. He'll be back in the starting lineup. Burrow just threw for 3 touchdowns and 300 yards. I mean, sorry, Jermaine. It's not beef, bro, but like
it is beef at this point, bro. You two were typing in all caps in him week 1. Fucking, he's calling you out for complimenting my fucking plays week 2 or week 3. It's beef. I think it's full on beef.
It's
honestly.
Full on beef.
Not beef.
Passive aggressive beef.
No. Never have beef with Jermaine. Never have beef with Jermaine.
Dude, fucking Zach is fully just fading Maine like I faded Will Levis with that Packers play. Fucking. I mean, this was the most predictable pick of all time, but I love it. To be fair, the beef is so funny. The all caps texting with Jermaine on week 1 was fucking reality show level entertainment. So
I think
I'm here for it.
That went on for what, 2-3 days? I think
that was multiple days for sure.
At least 2 days.
He sent me his matchup and puts an arrow and just writes lock.
All I know is I put my phone down and see like 20 messages after maybe 5 minutes. I'm like, what is going on here with both of these two?
That was great. All right, so my pick for this week is I'm going to go. I know there's no plus money plays in fucking fantasy. Like, there's no way to set odds on this. But I'm saying Casey takes his first loss this week. I'm riding with the brother-in-law.
Whoa!
Come out, put up a big week. It's just like the NFL. Teams are never as good as they look or never as bad as they look. I'm going with the team with the fewest points this week to beat the team with the most points this week. Fucking let's go, Ficini.
Damn. I don't think Casey's going to like that, man.
I don't give a shit what Casey likes. His upper lip smells like fucking dog's butthole.
His what?
His upper lip smells like a dog's butthole.
Ooh.
That's why he's so miserable all the time. He has to live with that stench.
Oh, that's because he lives in dirty ass fucking Queens.
Oh, yeah, that's facts. He is from dirty ass Queens. I lived in
Queens for years. Yeah,
I lived in
it's
Queens.
fun.
I love Queens, though. I love the dirty Queens, for the record.
Joey's just looking at the matchups right now, looking handsome.
I don't see the matchup.
What?
Oh,
He's in. He's in.
Wait, does
The
this say
dog
dump
shit
or
up her
jam?
lip. Fucking couldn't help himself.
Couldn't, bro. Talking shit.
All right,
What's up,
pick a
Bob?
matchup.
Picked against
Pick a
you for our
matchup then.
pick 'em for each week now.
Listen.
Hotch picked against you. Took Pacini.
I'm gonna make it quick. I'm gonna take myself because he has no Jordan Love, he has no Debo Samuel, he has no Austin Eckler, and he has no AJ Brown. So it's a lock.
All right.
Jordan Love actually
Famous
not
last
playing.
words.
he'll probably play next week.
I'll
I
be
thought Jordan Love was
4-0.
supposed to play.
I'll be 4-0, and we'll keep this thing moving. Hope you guys have a great night.
I'm out.
I'm out. See you later.
Later. All right, you're a weekly pick 'em now. Even if you don't come on the show, you got to send a pick at least because you entered yourself into this fucking bet.
Your pick
now.
'em is yourself, is what you're saying?
100% lock. Will be
So me and Casey are head to head this week. Fucking one of us will have an edge the rest of the year.
take it to the bank. I'm winning most points again.
Take it to the bank.
Take it to the
Yeah,
back where you have
bro.
no
Yeah, just
money.
put your first in Dynasty, Casey. Let that put you to sleep. Don't worry about it.
1 penny to the bank.
All right, hell yeah, I love you, Casey. You fucking
Love you,
piece of
Casey.
shit.
Wait,
That was great. Zach, you're up. I mean, excuse me, Joey, you're up.
I gotta find the matchups.
All right, Nick, you're up.
all right. Well, I think we all can agree that Maine is dead, so I'm not going to use that. I was going to say, I hate to say it, but I'm gonna give Zach the win this week. I think he has
Oh,
I think looking at his matchups and his players, I think he has a good shot. Especially, I think the key one to look at that I think could get him, and I always call it him as this, between Lamar Jackson playing Buffalo. I feel like that's gonna be either a shootout or a run through everything onto that. Along with the fact that CMT is going to Germany to see a specialist for his foot, so him getting that Mason cup is actually crazy. So I got that. And then loss-wise, I think I'm going to go... I hate to say it, but Eddie the Saint. I think Shabams, man, a.k.a. D'Lo, might take you.
Whoa.
Oh, he went with two. He took 2 matchups. He's fucking doubling down.
doubling down. So you're taking
like,
myself into the pick.
He has Kamara. I just think Atlanta's going to bounce back. So not, especially after losing to the Eagles. Yes, I will always shout that out 100%. But I think Kamara gets put down to earth. Richardson's showing a little bit of vulnerability as his second year into it now. So I don't know. That's where I think of it versus like Mahomes is starting to pick up steam. Jacobs is going to start running more. No, he does have a well constructed team besides outfits.
Yeah.
I give him
Detroit's defense is a problem. They're really banged up. I know they lost 2 players over the weekend, Davenport and Barnes, both going to be out a significant amount of weeks. I saw it, so they're going to be banged up. I like your pick, actually, in terms of just like Richardson going against Pittsburgh's defense. That's a tough matchup. So I like what you're saying. Kamara at Atlanta. You know, I think his skill position players there are viable to very much eat. Zach Moss against Carolina, I think could have a good day. McLaurin looks like he's finding a rhythm and like some kind of like rapport with Daniels as the weeks go. And they're playing Arizona. Like Arizona's a good defense, but not incredible, not by any means. St. Brown against Seattle.
I'm taking Eddie. I'm going head to head against you too. Fuck it. I'm still keeping my 1 pick as my main pick, but I'll take Eddie. I think he might stream a quarterback here. That might be the play, depending on some guy's health. Sam Darnold.
The lock of the week is myself versus Jam Tank.
Ooh, we have to take
It's a lock.
I'm looking forward to it right now.
George Kittle is out for his tight end position.
Yeah.
Man doesn't even have a tight end on his bench. Oh, he does. Be strange. That's
He
right.
scored last week, random tight
He
touchdown.
did at the last minute.
Yeah, won him the game for winning the matchup.
It's a bullshit.
Yeah, I might have to
He
chalk
did.
that one for Joey on that one because you also
I think if the teams perform as projected, it's a definite lock. And I see good things happening.
Yeah.
I think Buffalo Baltimore's gonna be a high scoring game, to be honest.
it is. I'll give him that.
I think
sure.
it is. It's always a high scoring game.
I got a question for you, Joe. Are you
Yeah.
starting Aaron Rodgers at home against Denver or Josh Allen on the road at Baltimore?
I think I'm gonna stay with Josh Allen, to be honest.
Yeah, why would you ever sit Josh Allen? He's the fucking
Dude.
best.
He is the best.
He's
the thing is,
Matchup.
Exactly.
yeah, but I don't know, man.
You know,
Broncos just shut down Baker Mayfield, who led the NFL in touchdowns and yards through the first 2 weeks.
Broncos
It's
defense is
a
underrated.
viable question, especially since Aaron Rodgers looked like he picked apart the Patriots like it was fucking nothing.
Yeah, Patriots defense is underrated. I kind of agree with that, too.
Yeah, I think he's still warming up, and I really have him for bye week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Josh Allen is a
Man.
start every single game.
Man.
There's no way. that
He'll give you all the stats the same way Lamar Jackson will. Maybe not as flashy.
It's like 15, 20,
nuts.
no certainty. Like Aaron Rodgers could have a game where he's like 10 points, maybe fucking around in the sand, 12 points, 15 points. Like that could be his regular game. Okay,
Yeah.
Josh Allen gets to another
Oh
level.
yeah, Josh Allen is a
Throwing
superstar
matchups out
on the
there.
team. He also doesn't have the supporting cast he used to, so he's not worrying about having to pass it around too much. Like he's doing a lot on his own.
Maine just jumped on the comments, so I want Zach to reiterate his lock of the week.
Oh,
All right, so my lock of the week is against you, Jermaine. I'm sorry. I picked the matchup against you. I'm picking this fat busy, aka Eddie, aka Brazil. So sorry, man. It's not personal.
It is personal. You guys have
Not
beef.
personal. I keep saying it's not personal. Everyone keeps saying it is personal and make it personal. I'm saying it's not personal.
Once you text someone in all caps, it's over. That's beef. That's certified beef.
Jermaine on that Friday after the Worthy game was like, "I'm smart." He wrote that on the chat. He invited all of this. It wasn't me.
In all fairness, he is under
No,
100
self-deprecating
points.
name. Do you see the chat?
Yeah. Now I feel sad. Now I'm like
I
sad.
feel sad. Now I'm not picking against you. No, fuck
Yeah.
this. You're my friend. This is not how it's supposed to work.
You got to change your pick.
I gotta, yeah. See, yeah, exactly. I just run my mouth. Exactly.
Oh,
Jermaine knows.
damn.
Oh,
Eddie's Maine is the Panthers in our league.
No.
Oh my God. We love it. We're so happy that fucking you guys write in the chat. We love it. Thank you so much.
You guys are the best. Best friends. The best friends. And by the way, it wouldn't be the Panthers. It would probably be the Jaguars.
Maine goes, I'm not smart.
You did. You wrote that in the chat. I'm smart in all caps. Swear on everything.
Maine being
Probably a
adamant,
joke, but you did write it.
Maine being adamant that I didn't say I'm smart is very funny. It's just like I never said I'm smart.
It was probably in jest when he was like, "I'm smart." Like he just was complimenting him about the Worthy start. It was fun.
Wait.
Yeah, like he made one good play.
Hang on, I'll send
Hey,
it
let me- I just want to clarify something to what Eddie Saint said. He said Maine is the Panthers of our league. Yeah, this is Bryce Young era, not last week where all of a sudden Andy Dalton throws 3 touchdowns. That was actually good.
True.
Let's add that right there.
I want to clarify one more thing too. That Eddie did finish in last place last year, so that's also a thing. But he got his 1 win this year, which you just said in the comments, which is true. And Jermaine has 0, and it's not what you've done; it's what you've done lately. So fair enough.
I will one point want to bring up to you, Hots, especially with our matchup. I feel like we kind of have equal squad in the sense of like our running backs are solid. Our wide receivers are a weird group because Ayuk and Hill, I don't know what's going to come out of those, but then we have Collins and Devontae Adams, which I feel like come pretty well. I feel like we have like a pretty even amount of like skill to that. So I feel like ours is going to come down to a wire one, personally.
Yeah, no, I think we'll both put up some points. I mean, my thing is, it's for me, I'm in trouble in the sense of my Bears are totally matchup dependent. And the Rams have given up a lot of passing yards. Their D-line doesn't look great. Like, luckily, like we saw with the Colts this week, like they'll put up offense against bad defenses, But against good defenses, that offensive line is problematic at best.
Yeah, very bad.
Like they are very, very bad. And everyone's like, Caleb Williams bust, this and that. Caleb has shown me, honestly, a good amount in those games. I still believe in Caleb Williams wholeheartedly, will be a good player in the NFL. But I think that when they're going up against good defenses this year, he's going to be under. Like the one game was 36 of 42 dropbacks. He was pressured. That's what he's going to be looking at every time they play a good defense.
Right.
They don't have a run game. That's a really big problem. They really have not committed to a down back to run the ball. They try to do this like gadget shit with Swift. It's a mess.
Onto the offensive line, they can't run block or pass block.
Right, but because there really is no threat also of a run, even if they couldn't even run block, if it was like Stonewall, it still in some way helps Caleb, a young quarterback, if they had some sense of anything. I feel like Khalil Herbert should be starting. I've been saying that since like preseason. That
I agree with you, Zach, 100%.
Like the way they've been running that offense feels backwards almost.
I think that's putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound, man. It's the offensive line. I don't think it's like Khalil Herbert's like that special where he's going to change the running game.
I would say it's more of just like, not like he'll change the running game, but like if he's the 1-2 back because he's the heavier back, and then you use Swift in like a motion into sense, I feel like that makes even more sense.
Yeah,
if he'll get you 3 yards instead of 2 yards because he's a
not just the line of shit doesn't matter. You put this guy out there, that guy, you can tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
Stack is going into that too.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, one thing I'll say real quick before we get off of Caleb Williams and move on, but is that like I still am a believer in Caleb Williams, and it definitely isn't a CJ Stroud, Bryce Young situation, but it is getting very, very close to. All right, Jaden Daniels should have been the number 1 pick this year. I mean, obviously his running ability is spectacular. But some of the throws he made, that last touchdown throw last night, there are fucking less than 5 quarterbacks in the NFL who can make that throw. He stood in the pocket, got cracked. When he let that go, I was like, oh, that was when if he got intercepted, could have won most points. And I was like, oh, this could be my chance. Like, he just got crushed as he threw that. And instead of it being a duck, it was a fucking dime to the sideline end zone. Perfect throw. If he's doing stuff like that consistently, that being said, it could also be Robert Griffin 2.0. This works really well for a while, then it gets
like a lot of unnecessary hits yesterday. I thought that was one thing that I noticed. Like he takes a lot of shots. He had a couple slides, but he did.
I was going to say one of his best plays of the game was a slide.
The slide, yeah, funny.
Yeah. To your point, even one of those spots, I feel like this Jaden Daniels is playing like Jaden Daniels. I don't think Caleb is playing like Caleb right now. And I feel like he's really learning that now as he's gone a few games in an NFL setting versus back in college.
Yeah, I also don't think that Caleb has fully identified himself as an NFL like quarterback yet. I think he's still going through all the workings of who he really is as a pro versus a guy like Jaden Daniels who has a much more, in a way, like I'm almost stealing your take in a sense, but not really, but I'm kind of changing it because I kind of agree with what you're saying in a sense, which is like Jaden Daniels has a certain kind of structure to what he can do on offense. Obviously, Haas, as he just said, is like he's completely not the thrower that anybody expected. He's way better. Like that throw yesterday was, like Haas just said, is an amazing throw. The play was fucking ruined. They were like trying to switch the signals and like the whole thing was fucked up. And he like just hiked the ball and just basically the blitzer was on him. He just threw it. It was a seed. That was fake football. Like, it almost felt like I was watching a fucking video game. Like it was insane. So to think that he's that thrower, but really his offense is simple. The read option offense. He's kind of scrambling with the ball. There's a lot of motion, a lot of Kingsbury bullshit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of fucking whatever, hibber jabber, people moving, whatever. Make you look over here.
It's right now. It's too early to say, but it's one of those things where it's polarizing. Where it's either he's going to be absolutely incredible, or all the wheels are going to fall off.
Right.
It's one of those two options. There's no like mid-range of like, oh, he's just going to be okay. He has all the stuff to be amazing. It's if that can translate over a long period, or is it kind of predictable where defenses will figure it out? Like I said, Robert Griffin, as a perfect example, just happened to also play for Washington. Joey, you got to
tear his ACL, RG3. When did he tear his shit?
He got hurt, I think, after like his second year. I want to say he got hurt.
The 12 or 13.
Yeah, probably 12 or 13 sounds about right. But yeah, but I also think Jaden Daniels could get hurt with how much he runs the ball.
Mhm.
Like, it's a similar situation where if he doesn't protect himself and get out of bounds and slide and do these things, he's at risk,
Nick was frozen, so I took him off the stage.
That's okay. What are you thinking, Joe? Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels long term? Am I bailing too soon?
I mean, I think Caleb has the wrong perspective. Like he had a lot of hype behind him, and maybe he's being pressured by the hype versus a Jaden Daniels where the hype is not on him as much. I mean, now he's got the light on him, but you're in a groove. Once you have the groove, you're in the groove.
Good take.
So.
I like this take. I like your take. Just about the idea of not being the first overall pick. He's kind of going to Washington.
Yeah, and he was
kind of over here. No hard knocks, too.
Yeah.
And he also had a route of, Drake May was the consensus number 2 overall pick to probably 8 or 9 weeks into the college football season last year. And Jaden Daniels just took over. And I think a lot of it, too, is, following up Joe Burrow, where, he had a lot of comparisons and their defense stunk. And he kind of had to carry that team and did everything with a smile on his face and, never was pointed fingers at the defense or did anything like that. Where with Caleb Williams, I do think he gets a lot of hate that's maybe unwarranted, but there's definitely some elements of finger pointing to him with the USC team, with their defense, with the play calling. It did seem like he was more of a guy who's look at all this shit I'm doing, Heisman Trophy winner, and we're still not winning.
Right. This
is frustrating, blah, 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 which Jaden Daniels maybe felt at LSU, but didn't vocalize, which is important.
Yeah.
The
character thing is the thing. And that's also what I was going to say about Jaden Daniels. He reminds me of Lamar. He feels super, under control. He just feels like he, within the moments, he just felt it didn't feel like anything was too big. It just felt like he was just in rhythm. His rhythm is really, his chords, he just seems like he gets it. Very much so.
Well, that's what I was saying from earlier. Just Jaden Daniels is just playing as Jaden Daniels. He's not thinking that he was the number 2. He's not thinking he's having to play a certain way. He's just playing the game. And I feel like that's a big thing when you're coming into the pros, is overthinking it. And then all of a sudden it's just taking you off. I feel like you really saw Caleb understanding, or at least seeing the pros are a different level, especially from his first game. He had a definitely better second game. And then even the Colts and Bears game, still had hiccups, but he still made adjustments, and I feel like that's just how some rookies can be, which I feel like was the biggest difference between Stroud and Young. Stroud just,
the biggest difference between Stroud and Young is one guy can play football and the other one cannot actually play football.
I'm just I'm just saying in a sense
I know.
The more we talk about it, I'm realizing they came out of very similar situations in college. Jaden, they both had to transfer originally. Caleb Williams from Oklahoma, Jaden Daniels from Arizona State, both Heisman Trophy winners. Both had very underachieving defenses, to be kind. The last year of their college football career, and the one who won the Heisman that final year was Jaden Daniels. The one who played better was Jaden Daniels. I think arm talent wise, I'm still not gonna say that he's a better arm talent than Caleb Williams, but if he can make the throws when it matters, who cares,
I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. And the way he runs the ball, too, he just seems very under control in a way. I mean, I'm just hoping nothing bad happens to him. He has to stop taking hits. Now, there's only one Lamar Jackson, truthfully, a guy that avoids getting hit that hard. And I don't know how he just contorts his body and just seems to always just avoid the hit every time. It's like a linebacker's just about to clear him and he just goes down or he does something nifty, and Lamar's always just avoiding it. Jaden has to figure that out now if he's going to continue to play that style, because like Nick said, it's true. He's the system versus Caleb going into a system and learning the system and being a part of it. And I can see what Nick's saying about being overthinking it versus just Jaden being able to kind of be the system because he runs the ball and all this read option bullshit.
And so, to be fair, I would say other than weapons and defense, I would say Jaden Daniels has a better offensive line, better running game.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So that obviously helps. But I think we should close the show. I had an idea just like pop in my head, like because I had just like a random football take or random sports take. Just one random thing you want to say about sports. It could be as simple as, man, I love playoff baseball, to as complicated as, oh, this specific player needs to work on this.
Welcome to Victory Formation, guys. Welcome to Victory Formation.
I have one to start it off to like set the tone for it, if that helps. But so I watch a lot of Army football. I typically bet Service Academy unders. So I watch a lot of Army football. Their current quarterback is Taysom Hill 2.0. His name's Bryson Daly. Guy is a fucking stud. Runs for like 100+ yards every game, multiple touchdowns. Is the first Army quarterback I've seen in a long time who actually could throw the ball a little bit. Let's say he does have to do some Army service before he gets to the NFL, much like Taysom Hill had to do his Mormon mission before he went to the
Ukraine and coming back and playing for Kyle Shanahan.
Potentially. Playing for Dennis Allen in New Orleans to take over for Taysom Hill one day. Wow. I'm telling you, this kid Bryson Daly, if you haven't seen Army football, watch this kid. He's fucking good and he's exciting, and he can be that Swiss Army knife kind of player at the next level, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, 3-0 right now.
Yeah, Army's killing it.
Crazy. Damn.
And he's balling. Great contact balance.
Any sport or just football?
It could be anything in life. Just a random take.
All right, random take. All right, what do you got, Joe?
I love baseball at this time. October's coming around, and rear it up for really good baseball when all the strategies actually have to come out.
What do you think? Who do you think is actually going to represent each side?
Well, everything. You get your seeds, you get your placements, you get all the injuries that are throughout the season. People are coming back.
This is the time of year. You're saying this is it.
This is the time of year.
I love what you said about when strategies come out, because I've always had this take with baseball, is that you can't use the analytics in the playoffs. The sample size is too short for it to be applicable. It's like I always compare analytics to like poker, where like you can't be like, oh, if I do everything right in this one tournament, I'm going to have success, because you could get unlucky, the bad breaks, all right, 10% of the time or 90% of the time this works, you could run into that 10% of the time in the tournament, just like in the MLB playoffs. Yeah. Like, even I hate stupid takes like people say like, oh, I'd rather not get the bye in the first round so we stay playing. But it's like, you're in a 3-game series then to move on. Anything can happen in a 3-game series. Yeah. Why would you want to be in that series?
Possible, you crazy person. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's and you have to bring them out to win. You know what I mean? Like, this is
like, all right. For example, when Madison Bumgarner had already pitched like 3 games in the World Series, and it was like Game 7, like analytics would never be like put out a pitcher on 1-day rest after pitching 3 games. They put him out there when they're up 2-0 in like the 5th inning, and we're just like, here you go, take the ball. Like, that's playoff baseball. Whatever you need to do to win that fucking night, do it. Don't worry about tomorrow. What you're going you can't play for 162 in the playoffs. You got to win that game that night. Playoff baseball is electric. I love that take, Joe.
Electric. What you got, Nick?
I'd have to go on to it too. I love me some playoff baseball, especially when October comes. I feel like just the energy is so different.
That's typically when playoff baseball comes, October.
But yeah, I would say like if I were to pick a series, obviously I'm gonna go with my Yankees, and this might be a surprising one for you, but I would go Phillies. I would like to see Yankees Phillies.
Yeah, it's pretty chalky. I mean, the Phillies have had the best record most of the year. They've fallen off a little bit. There's obviously a lot. They went to the World Series 2 years ago, the NLCS last year. They have a strong team and they have a foundation. They have experience, but it's tough when the National League is weird. Dodgers, obviously.
National League is
I don't have a pulse on the National League at all. I'll be honest. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean the Dodgers. I mean, since the All-Star break,
it's
the 3 best records in baseball are three NL West teams. The Dodgers, the Padres, and the Diamondbacks have the 3 best records in the MLB since All-Star break, and they're all in the same division. Has a lot to do with the Rockies being absolutely fucking horseshit. but
yeah,
it's still a crazy stat because they have to play each other.
The Mets were going to be on that list.
Nah, they're a little bit behind those other guys, but they've been great since it was actually the London series. They were 14 games back of the Phillies. Like, obviously they're not going to win the division, but like they were 10 games under 500, and now they're have 87 wins. They lost tonight, but still, like 88 wins, like usually get you in the playoffs. It's just this year the NFL is deep.
All that matters is you get in.
Yeah, exactly.
You can be the last seed. You get in, and you do damage.
Dodgers. Did you see the other night with the Dodgers? All right, so my thing I want to shout out for this time of year is actually just the way that all the sports are about to interject, whatever with the schedule. Thank you. And we're about to watch everything. Hockey just started. Rangers got a nice dub in Boston. Like, fucking Knicks are going to start up. Fucking Yankees in the playoffs are starting up. Mets in the playoffs starting up. We got fucking football. We got football. Hopefully the Mets.
I got a good question.
They're doing their thing. They're doing their thing. But sorry, no jinx. But because my dad is also a big Met fan as well as John. So, but we got a lot of sports. Is the actual amazing part of this time of year. It's the best time of year, in my opinion, when it comes to sports. If you're a sports fan, it's either now or April. And for me, probably like May-ish, maybe. But I don't know. It depends on the year. Depends on like Masters and obviously Olympics,
March Madness, shit like that.
Yeah. But honestly, this time of year is the best. Like you guys said, full baseball, fucking football's in full swing, fucking basketball's coming back. The Knicks are gonna be fucking ready. I'm fucking here for them. So yeah, all that. Yeah.
Go ahead, Joe. I didn't know you were gearing up to say something.
No, I was gonna say if the Mets and the Yankees both make playoffs, do you think the news and like the media and the coverage is gonna be split between like two teams, or do you think it's going to be just as much as they would do if one of the teams in New York make it? You know what I'm trying to say?
I kind of hear what you're saying. I think the coverage. I think the Yankees are always kind of big brothering the Mets. Similar like Knicks and Nets, Rangers, Islanders. Like I think there's always a sense of like the Yankees are the show. The Mets.
The Mets are hot.
The Mets win their first round. If the Mets win their first round and the Yankees for some reason barely get through, let's say, or in like some kind of chokehold of a series, let's say, or whatever it might be, and the Mets are like steamroll through and become a story, I think very quickly you could see the Mets, when the Mets get stewing, and like when Diaz was cooking and that whole trumpet thing and the whole fucking thing last year was cooking, it feels like they can take over the New York media in 5 minutes. It feels like there's like a lot of Met fans just waiting to emerge.
He was an MSG.
And
he was
like,
that's true. Even the grimace throwing out the first pitch became a meme right away. The Mets,
they're just waiting for a reason. It's almost like
the Mets fan base is massive. It's a huge fan base, even within the construct of the MLB as a whole. But it will always play second fiddle to the Yankees until they win a bunch of championships, or like the '86 Mets might have been like going into the '87 season might have got more coverage than the Yankees, like fresh off a World Series. But barring something like that, like even when the Mets lost to the Royals in the World Series going into the next year, I still think the Yankees were the more talked about team.
Great take.
One thing I'll throw in before we close the show is, talk about all this great sports time. I agree with you. This is the best sports time of the year. March Madness is close second, but there's nothing better than playoff baseball and NFL football at the same time. That is the best. Those are my two favorite sports. There's obviously still
just chiming in.
I don't pay attention to the NBA till fucking Christmas, to be honest. I'll keep it a buck with you
right now, so I have
That's to. Fair. You got a fun team, but but one thing you're leaving out: WNBA playoffs. Caitlin Clark took the fucking worst team in the WNBA to the playoffs.
Wow.
First year.
In the sun right now. They lost game one. She got a black eye. Girl pokes her in the eye. Don't even call a foul. She don't get none of the
interview with the girl. I saw the interview at practice when she was like, I didn't even see her. I didn't even know. Like,
yeah, it was an accident, but it was still a foul. You know what I mean? Like, I can't even call a foul. But then they got smoked the first game, but game 2 is coming up. They got to win that to survive. I'm all in on the Fever. I got my Caitlin Clark merch. I'm a Caitlin Clark guy through and through.
She's a true player. She's really good.
She's
really
fucking
good.
Nasty.
She's excellent.
There's no denying her.
She's excellent.
Third most assists in a season in WNBA history, her rookie year. She's like 18, 8, and 6.
She should be playing with the boys. I would take her on the Knicks over Deuce McBride.
Now you've gone crazy.
Oh,
you
gotta do Deuce like that? You gotta do Deuce?
She does
She
hate.
wins some dude some fucking free tuition on Pat's show.
Caitlin
Clark
couldn't guard a high school senior on a fucking state championship team.
Deuce would destroy her on defense. Oh my god.
Yeah. Deuce would fucking score 80 points in a row. If she had to guard him 100 times, he's scoring 100 times.
Deuce is steamrolling her easy.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
Right to the-
I love. That being said, I love
dragging
Caitlin
that
Clark.
dog shit though to the playoffs. Shout out to Caitlin.
I love Caitlin Clark. Shout out to the best sports time of the year. Shout out to Joey. Shout out to Nick. Thank you for coming on.
Appreciate you guys coming on. We'll have a new
Phenomenal
guest next week. That's it. And shouts to Brazil as well for coming on and Casey stopping through to show his mug. Love the love.
Sorry,
Casey doesn't get a shout out.
I was
love the love. Anyway, we'll be back next week. It's always
Maggot.
26.
I was high, very high.
Talk to you next week.
Disclosure: Joey was high. If you didn't know,
Yeah,
just so you
no,
didn't catch that.
Too high, way too high.
Oh my god.
I got you, boys.
Later, boys.
Peace.